Good day, family. Pastor Willingham here. We're talking again here about why we need men to need God, why we need men to need God, and how the salvation plan of God goes through the leadership of men. And therefore, you know, as our men go, so do we go. And the status of our men um, greatly affects our status. And so we need men to need God, and because a better man um, is a better world, a better society, a better church. And so I want to talk here today about um, the reality of manhood and what it means to be caught between dust and destiny, what it means for a man to be caught between dust and destiny. And I'm going to look again here at Genesis, second chapter, seventh verse, that reads, "And the Lord God formed a man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and he became a, a living soul." And so here is this man, the first human being to be manifested on a planet caught between dust and destiny, um, made from the dust of the ground, the lowest substance of the earth, the dust, um, that lowest substance, representing the lowest part of man's nature, um, you know, representing, the trouble that we see men many times in, the sin, um, the poor decisions, those things that the disappointments that we have dealing with our fathers and dealing with our brothers and dealing with our sons. Um, it's this dust, this low state. Again, this nature. Sometimes there in the dust is the addictions. Sometimes in that dust is the broken relationships. Sometimes in the dust is the financial failure. Sometimes in that dust is a falling away from the things of God and the church in the dust, um, in the lower part of the man. And yet, this man has a destiny. His destiny is his God self, is where God breathed the breath of life into his nostrils. And so, this same man who's dealing with the reality of his dust is also carrying in him the breath of God in his nostrils, the presence of God in him. And in this process, he became something. You know, God took this man in his dusty state, and this man in the lower form of himself, and he became something, a living soul. He became a living soul. He has in him, in the temporal body from the dust, um, he became also an eternal being within him of God. And so, thus, the battle for the man between the flesh and the spirit, the battle for the man between his dust and his destiny. And I tell you what, this is what it means to be a man, to be caught between dust and destiny. And we, in embracing our men, we have to understand that we too bear his dust, because his dust is our dust. We came from this man, and so we cannot afford to separate ourselves from the man or outcast the man, because we have to realize in unity with our fathers, in unity with our brothers, in unity with our sons who may not be um, where we want them to be, who may have been a source of pain and frustration for us. We have to understand that we bear their dust. Their dust is our dust. The breath of life that is in them, the presence of God. We breathe the same breath that they do. In fact, the breath of life that's in us came from Him, and we share His soul. And so, um, and we have to understand that God, in putting the presence of Himself in the man, wants the man to become his higher self. He wants the man to rise from the dust into his destiny. And so this is where we want to encourage our men today. And we recognize the dusty places in their life. We recognize their struggle um, in the dust, but we want to encourage them towards the destiny of their higher self in God. And so this is what it means to be a man. This is the struggle of our men today. And so I invite you to subscribe here to this channel. And I thank you for listening. And please share this information as you see fit. Let's encourage our men to rise from the dust into their destiny. God bless you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.